Hello everyone. In this video, I just wanted to give you guys a quick tip on how to keep your user account synchronized across multiple computers. If you're like me, you have probably several laptops and a desktop. And as a developer, I use a lot of tools and have a lot of settings and configurations. And usually I don't remember to keep those things up to date or synchronized across all of the computers that I might be using. So yeah, I have a desktop, a couple laptops. My wife has a laptop. My kids have a laptop, and I'm the system administrator for my house, of course. So whenever I log into anyone's computer, I want my account to be the same basically across everything, so that all my commands are set up, all my paths are the same, and I have the files that I expect to be where they are, without having to remember any of it, right? And especially when you change something. So if I change a setting in Visual Studio Code, that's probably a setting change that I want to be in all of my computers. And so I take advantage of something that you probably know about, like a Dropbox or Google Drive. It's the cloud storage that synchronizes to your hard drive. I use Mega. They're more secure, and you get 50 gigs of free space with them. I'm not affiliated with them. I've just used them for a very long time. But this will work with Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever you're using, I'm sure. The concept is that you have your sync drive set up so that you have all of your settings, your environment settings, everything is in one place, and then you link it into your system. So I'm using Linux. This probably doesn't work on Windows. I haven't even tried to do it on Windows, so this is definitely just a Linux specific tip. But what I do is, if I was going to install a new operating system, say, for example, then starting from scratch, I have to install the programs I want, set up all the settings that I want. And the first thing I do when I install a new operating system is I go install the Mega Sync client, download all of my files from my Mega Drive, and then I have this folder here. And yeah, I named it. It's 0_BJ. I named it that a long time ago, and it's that file name is in all these paths and these files here. So yeah, that's just the way it is, and it's always been that way. But anyways, once I have this downloaded, I go to this setup sh file, and this, I run it. It CDs into my home drive, and then I copy my bashrc. Well, I copy some text into my bashrc file, so that the existing bashrc that came by default with the operating system, it stays the same. And then I just add some text onto the end of it to run my bashrc settings, and I'll show you that in a second. I also symlink my npmrc config, vimrc, my whole ssh folder, git config. So there's other things in these scripts that get symlinked into my operating system. So the symlinks point to my shared drive, so that no matter what operating system, what computer, machine I'm on, they all have the same settings, because they're all pointing at the same exact files in my shared cloud storage. And then, this setup script also installs some programs that I like to have pretty much anywhere I am. So Build Essential is just kind of an underlying library of things that are nice to have when you're doing development. Curl, Vim, Git, Color Paint is the, image manipulation thing I like to use when I'm not using GIMP. And then VirtualBox, which is really nice to have for development. And then some other programs, warrant just their own setup, right? So there's Node.js, VS Code extensions. Creator tools are things like OBS, Audacity, just things that I use for creating, like, say, this video. And then I use the Brave browser, which is based on Chromium, so it's a Google Chromie like browser, but it's got more security stuff in it. I like that instead of plain Google Chrome. And then I have a bunch of Git projects that I kind of always end up cloning, so I just created a script that'll go through and it clones all my projects for me when I first set up the system, so that they're there. And this setup script is really nice to have when when you're setting up a new system. So much happens in here. So for example, when I install Node.js, right, it goes in, sets up my npm folder, it installs Node, and then I have a couple of npm libraries that I like to have available on the command line by default. So those get added automatically with that script. To install VS Code, it does all the pulling of the files and getting the keys and all that stuff, and then it also symlinks the settings. So if code was installed and code actually created these folders, then I'll just delete them and recreate them as symlinks into my cloud storage. And so anytime I make a change to a setting in VS Code on one computer, the next time I log into any other computer, that setting is automatically pulled in through my cloud storage. And it's just all my computers stay the same. And it's really nice to have that, because I don't have to remember to keep them in sync. It just happens automatically thanks to my cloud drive. Yeah, there's a few other things in here. Just the copy to bash RC text. All it does is it copies. So my setup script takes the text of this file and just appends it to the end of my bash RC file. So my bash RC file, when I installed the operating system, it looked like this, right? It's all this stuff that just it comes by default with Linux Mint. And then at the end, that script just added this text at the end. So now whenever I source my bash RC file, the actual .bash RC in my user folder, this gets run also, and it picks up all of my custom bash RC stuff. And again, whenever I add a path, an export, or an alias, or anything like that in my bash RC, it automatically gets applied to all my computers the next time I log in, and I don't have to think about it, and it works really well. So yeah, I could probably go into a lot more detail about these things, and maybe I will go into more detail on some of them. But yeah, as you can see, if I go here, and you can see in my home folder, all these things are symlinked. My vimrc, npmrc, git config, my SSH folder, and then yeah, down in the config, my user settings and stuff like that, they're all symlinked to my cloud drive. So any changes that happen here automatically get pulled in as the cloud drive updates on the hard drive here. And yeah, it has changed the way that I do things. I'm not afraid to just wipe out an operating system and reinstall it, because I can put things, anything that you can do with a script, you can put in here and just have it automatically apply anywhere you have a user account. Like I said, this is for Linux, not Windows. There might be a way to do something similar with Windows, but I don't really use Windows enough to warrant me trying to figure that out. Everything just works here in Linux so well that I use it all the time. Hope this helps, and have a great day.